Hey everyone, it's Lynette from Novels and Hops, and today I will be doing the makeup and book tag. So I don't know where the original video, tag video for this came from, but I got this off Reagan from Peruse Project's BookTube channel. So I will link her channel down below. Surprisingly, some of my books on the list for the questions correlate with her books, so I apologize for that. I had answered all these questions and then I realized some of them were the same as Reagan. So Reagan, you have good taste and we seem to be really similar on our book taste. So the first question on the makeup and books tag is about primer. I use this primer that I bought off my friend Tiffani, who now has a YouTube channel. So I'll also link Tiffany's channel down below that you can check out. She talks about books and makeup and coffee and life and things. So, but the primer that I bought off of her because she sells makeup is Touch. It's called Glorious. It's by Unique and you know, I'm not a makeup expert. This is the only primer I own and I don't use it all the time. So I really just use it, you know, to reduce my pores here in this area and like my T-zone. And then I just rub it all over my face. Also, you're seeing me use my hands a lot and I promise that they're clean. Like I said, I'm not a makeup artist. I'm not a makeup expert. This is just what I do and I love makeup. I just don't always know how to use it. So the question for primer is, what is a book that made a lasting impression on you? And that book for me is Game of Thrones. Not only is it like my favorite TV show, but I also just love the book and I think about all the characters all the time. And I know I didn't start clear back in the 90s when it first came out like some people did, but I know people have been waiting like 20 plus years for answers. So I empathize with those people. I'm not one of them, but I am still waiting for answers, as are all Game of Thrones fans, and I hope that we get them pretty soon. The next question on the makeup book tag is about foundation, and I use the Fit Me foundation. This is in color Ivory 115 because I'm super pale, but I accidentally bought the Dewy and I have really oily skin, so I actually pack it with powder after I put it on because it makes me look really shiny and I don't like to look shiny. But the question for foundation is, pick the first book in a series that really impressed you. And this one is the same as Reagan's, and it is Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I've talked about Illuminae so much in my other videos, and I just was really impressed by it. I didn't know what to expect when I first picked it up. So just knowing I made a good choice when I took a chance on it. It's now like one of my favorite books ever. So yeah, that would be my answer for that question. Also, what I'm doing now is, this is a brush. It's so dirty, don't even look at it. It's a Bare Minerals brush. It has a little like opening there, and I just poured a little bit of foundation into there and really just going over my entire face, trying to make myself look normal. And now I'm going to pack that down with powder and I'll be right back. The next question is about concealer, and the concealer that I use is Tarte Shape Tape. This is my all-time favorite concealer. And the question that goes along with concealer is, what is a character that you wish you could get rid of? I never read the book, but I watched the TV show, so please don't, you know, hate me for saying this. But in the 100, there's a character, I think his name is John, and I hated him at first. I mean, he's starting to redeem himself now that I'm still behind on this series. I'm on like season 3, but I remember texting my sister, and I'm like, I cannot stand this guy, and she's like, yeah, he'll go back and forth with you the entire time. I think his name is John, but he is just so annoying. But then sometimes he does good things, and then sometimes he does bad things, but all in all, I don't like him as a character. Drop in the comments below if you know who I'm talking about at all. Maybe he's different in the book, but in the TV show, he really gets on my nerves. So I just put this, Josh calls this my war paint when I put it on, but I put it under my eyes, I put it down my nose, and in the middle of my forehead, on my chinny chin chin, and then on my Cupid's bow, makeup terms, Cupid's bow. And then I take my e.l.f. My e.l.f. kabuki brush. It's a retractable one. And I make it kind of like really stiff so the bristles are really short. And then I pat all that in. I know all you beauty gurus that are watching this right now are probably cringing at how I'm putting on my makeup. But like I said, this is just what I do. And I don't care if it's right or not because it's what I do to feel pretty. So, okay, all that is rubbed in, and we're on to the next question. The fourth question of the makeup book tag is about powder, and the powder that I use to set my under eyes and every place that I just put concealer is the NYX finishing powder, and this is in shade Banana. I absolutely love this powder, obviously because I've hit pan really bad. I really need to replace this, but this is a really good setting powder, I think. And I take that same kabuki brush and just dip it in. So the question that correlates with this is, what is your favorite book, last book in a series? And since I just finished it, I'm going to go with A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is the last book of A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. I really just loved that whole series, for one thing. I love that whole series, but the last book had so many twists and turns, and it brought characters back that I had forgotten were even still alive, and it was so amazing. It kept me on the edge of my seat, and I just had to keep reading, and I finished it. I mean, it took me about a week to get through just because it is so lengthy, but I was reading it constantly every single day because I just could not get enough of it. I dreamt about this book. That's how much I loved it. And since there wasn't a question that correlates with bronzer, and I wear bronzer every single time I do my makeup, I went ahead and did my bronzer off camera. But the bronzer, I wanted to mention it because I love it so much, and everybody should go buy it right now. Is the Alexis Ren collab with ColourPop. I love ColourPop as a brand anyway, but this bronzer is so good, and it comes with a highlighter that I wear in the summer when I'm a little bit more tan, but you can see how much I love it because I've hit pan on this as well, but this is a really pretty highlighter too when I'm more bronzy and golden. But this is my favorite bronzer. I wanted to mention that, and I went ahead and did it off screen. I use a brush, a synthetic brush like this, which is super dirty, and I just made a pretty face and did it on my cheeks, I did it around my forehead, around my neckline, and on the sides of my nose. The next question is about blush, and the blush that I am using is actually one of my newer ones. This is from the brand Real Her, which I love because all of their names on their makeup are like fearless, limitless, unstoppable, brave, just really empowering, kind of empowering woman, strong girl power words. So I love it. But the question that goes along with brush is cringeworthy moments, like romantic moments in books. And even though they weren't cringeworthy, they did make me blush a little bit because it was the first new adult book that I've ever read. And that again is the Sarah J. Maas series of A Court of Thorns and Roses. During the first sex scene, in the book, I was like, oh, I didn't know that was going to be in there. And I blushed a little bit. I was kind of taken aback. I mean, I didn't hate it. It's just, I was surprised. I didn't know that it was going to be that kind of book. But I didn't hate it, and I enjoyed reading it. And like I said, it was the first new adult book that I've read before. So I think I'm going to use this middle one, this corally peachy color called Limitless. This is my favorite blush brush. This is from from Glamour Dolls, from their Lisa Frank collection, and I love it so much. So I haven't actually used this color yet, so I don't know how it's going to turn out. But I just pop that right on top of the apples of my cheeks, right on top of where I applied my bronzer. Like I said, not a makeup expert at all. Don't even know if I'm doing it right. But like I said, I do what makes me feel pretty. So, oh, that's not a bad color actually. So there we go. There's the blush. The next question is about highlighter. And the question that goes along with highlighter is, what is a book that brightens your day? I had to think long and hard about this one because there's so many books. Books in general really just brighten my day. But I have to go with a children's literature book for this one because sometimes you pick up a children's lit book just to brighten your day. And the one that brightens my day the most is A City of Ember. I don't actually own it, so I can't remember who wrote it, but I will leave it in the description box below, the author. But The City of Ember was a great little dystopian read for a children's literature book. And it just, even though it's dystopian and dystopian tends to be a little bit more on the depressing side, it really was sort of uplifting. It was a cute little story. It's a series, but I haven't read the other ones in the series, but I really enjoyed the first one, so I would really like to finish that series. So the highlighter that I use probably the most often, I'm a highlighter hoarder. I love highlighters, and maybe one day I'll just do a video about all my favorite highlighters or just my collection of highlighters because I love them so much. But the one I use most often is the Mary Lou Manizer by The Balm Cosmetics, and I haven't hit pan on it yet, but there's big divot in the middle, so I use it a lot. And the brush I'm going to use, I'm not really a big brush person. I really just use, whatever I can. I know some people are really into brushes on their beauty channels, but this one was recommended on the Jaclyn Hill channel, and she uses the Morphe M501 brush, which is sort of a tapered kind of guy like that. So I really just hit the tops of my cheekbones like so. Ooh, girl. And then I get the end of my nose, I drag it up a little bit, make my nose a little shiny, and I hit my Cupid's bow, again, makeup terms, Cupid's bow, and then I put a little tiny bit on my chinny chin chin. And that's it for highlighter. The next question is about the eyebrows, and the product that I use for eyebrows is from Winky Lux, and it doesn't have a color on it. I think this is just like one size fits all kind of color, but it has a really cool tip. I don't know if you could see it. It's like a triangle, so it's like different than other eyebrow pencils, but I use this one the most. I also have a MAC eyebrow pencil that I use a lot, and I can't remember what it's called either, but it doesn't have a spoolie on it, which I don't like about it, but I do like the color. But I'm going to use this one because I need a spoolie. But the question that goes along with eyebrows is, what is a book that everyone should read? I think I have two of these. Everyone should read Harry Potter. Yes, Tiffany, even you. You should read Harry Potter. It's really good. Just don't watch the movies. Read the book. They're so great. I can't even stress how much I love them. Don't let the magic and the witches and the wizards turn you off if you're not into fantasy or supernatural or things like that, because it is such a great read, such a great story, so heartwarming. It makes you laugh, it makes you cry. I just can't even say enough good things about Harry Potter. And the second one is, if you're new to young adult and don't know where to start, I always recommend The Hunger Games. It's just, after I read The Hunger Games, I was such on a Hunger Games kind of high, and it took me a long time to find books that I loved just as much, if not more, than The Hunger Games, but it's still top 5 favorite series in my mind. So, like I said, I'm not an expert, and I don't have bad eyebrows, but I do have a few spots that I like to fill in, so I just kind of outline them first with this very lightly because I don't want to have bushy caterpillars on my face. And I have a little mole here that I always try to cover up. And then I just do the same thing on the top, outline the top and give it a little bit more shape. And then I take just like upward strokes here in the front of my eyebrows. And then I just kind of fill her in. And then I take my spoolie because that looks, drawn on, and you don't want drawn on eyebrows. Take the spoolie and I just sort of fan it out, feather it out. I don't like eyebrows that look fake and plastered. I like them to be a little bit thicker and wispier, so that's just how I do my eyebrows. And I'm going to do the other one, and I'll be right back. The next question is about eyeshadow, and sometimes I honestly just use one color, sometimes I build up, sometimes I do a smoky eye. It just really depends on what I'm feeling like that day, where I'm going, what I'm wearing, things like that. But today I think I'm just going to do just a really quick, simple look since I don't really have big plans today, except really just filming videos. So the question though that correlates with eyeshadow is some of your favorite colors on books. I like anything that's bright and vibrant. I love watercolor looking covers. I can't think of a specific cover right now because I'm not in front of my bookshelf. I'm in my bathroom. But maybe over my shoulder here I'll flash a few of my favorites once I start editing. But I really just love lots of colors and lots of, watery colors and, just really beautiful covers like that. There's so many that I like that I just couldn't name one. So for eyeshadow, I am going to use the Jaclyn Hill palette, which I found Jaclyn's channel, I don't know, probably a year or two ago now, and I've learned so much about makeup from watching her channel. I think she is gorgeous and she's super funny, and anything that she does and puts out, I will buy, obviously, but this palette is so beautiful. I just want you to look at these colors if you have not seen this palette. And I use the palette all the time. Don't judge me. It is so dirty. But here it is. There's just like a color in here for every single occasion. And I love it so much. So I'm just going to do a really quick look using a few of these shades. And maybe I'll link down below what shades I use to create this look if you like it. And maybe you could try it too. Okay, so my eyeshadow is on almost. I still have a few little touch-up things to do, but I just kind of did a red, shiny, holiday smoky eye using a few of these middle red shades here and a few of the shimmers. But the next question is about eyeliner, and I don't really wear eyeliner anymore. When I was in high school, I would line my eyes so black and so dark, but I don't do that anymore. So instead, I take a few of the transition shades of my eyeshadow and I bring them down underneath of my eye. So I'm going to do that off camera, but first, the question that correlates with eyeliner is something that is dark and mysterious, a book that's dark and mysterious. And since Reagan on her makeup book tag chose 3 Dark Crowns, that's what I was going to say. I'm going to say the second one, which is One Dark Throne. That's by far one of the darkest fantasies that I've read so far. Like I said, I'm pretty new to the fantasy genre, but One Dark Throne is really dark. It just keeps you guessing the whole time. It's just a really dark premise and a really dark world, like just aesthetically, just the way the author describes the world and the colors and what everything looks like. Everything's very black and white. I mean, everything's pretty much black and white. So it's just a very dark book, both in content and aesthetically and the description and everything. And even the cover's black. So that's my pick. The next question in the makeup book tag is about mascara. The mascara that I just recently started to use is by Tarte, which is my favorite makeup brand. It's the Tartiest. That's all it says on it. I don't know if that's the name of it or just that's what it's called. I don't know, but it looks like this, and it's fantastic. And I'll probably put it on off camera because nobody likes to watch other people put on mascara. It's just stupid. So, but the question that correlates with mascara is a long book. I've read so many long books so far. Anything by Sarah J. Maas is exceptionally long, I think. Harry Potter is long. I even think Illumine and Gemina are long, but they're long in a sense that they have big number of pages, but you can get through them relatively quickly because of the format and the way that the pages are set up. Like I said, some of them are just really art and drawings, and so it's almost like a picture book in that kind of sense too. So you can get through it relatively quickly, but there is a large number of pages in that book. So I'm going to go put on my mascara and I'll be right back. And the last question, of course, is about lipstick. My favorite lipsticks are from Milani. They're in a gold package and they go on really smooth, but I pretty much always wear a liquid lip instead, which is sort of like a gloss, except it wears like a lipstick and it's supposed to be long lasting, and a lot of them, it doesn't like rub off or kiss off or anything. So one of my favorites is by Manna Kadar, and that they don't call it a liquid lip. They call it a priming gloss stain, but it's a liquid lip. That's essentially what it is. But this is the shade Lip Locked. So that's what I'm going to put on today, but I have so many other favorites. Tarte has a lot of great liquid lips. Even e.l.f. is starting to come out with some liquid lips if you're looking for like a drugstore brand, and they're always really good. I really like the brand e.l.f. and I like the price of e.l.f. too. But the question that goes along with lipstick is, what is a great book kiss? Oh man, so many great book kisses. Probably my favorite, maybe my favorite would have to be maybe in Harry Potter when Ron and Hermione finally get together. I also really love all the kisses in A Court of Thorns and Roses. Not necessarily the first book, but the third, the second even. Probably my favorite takes place in the second, and I'm not going to say who it's between because I don't want to ruin anything, but probably my favorite book kiss happens in that book. I don't know. I don't tend to read a lot of romances. I like to read more action-packed books, so I don't know. I think those would probably be my favorite, though. So I'm going to put this guy on, and I don't think I'll be able to talk while I do it. All right, and that is it for my makeup and book tag. I hope you enjoyed this sort of chatty, get ready with me, makeup book tag kind of thing. I'm actually going to go film another video now, which is different from me, which is a try-on haul style thing. So this will probably be posted before that one is. So if you're interested in more videos like this, tag me because I love to do book tags and I'm always looking to do different ones. So I'll see you in my next video, and thanks for watching. Bye guys.